Hi, and welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom. I'm Isaac. This is Chana here from Judaica.com. Today we're actually joined by an old friend of mine, Rabbi Moshe Walter. He's a rabbi here locally in the DC area. And he's actually going to come here to talk about his new book. It's called The Making of a Minhag, to talk about customs in Judaism, and specifically related to the Seder, because as we all know, there's a number of customs that are prevalent in the Passover holiday, and I think we're maybe we're not as knowledgeable about some of them as they are. So, Rabbi Walter, let me ask you a question. If you can explain to us, just to get into it quickly, what is a custom? What is a minhag that talk to me a little bit about customs in general.
You're gonna have to read my book, Isaac.
All right, so okay, let's give a little bit of intro here.
So minhagim, which we translate typically as custom, is probably one of the most confusing, difficult words really to translate. The source of customs is really found already in the Talmud and in the Mishnah. Customs are very different than what we call halacha. Halacha is something that you must do, that's universal, that every Jew has to follow and keep. Minhagim are not universal, they're very much communal dependent. Some communities had customs, other communities didn't have particular customs.
So we can have two communities that have different customs.
You could potentially have different communities with different customs, and the Mishnah talks about it regularly, that there are certain cities and certain constituencies and areas that had particular customs, and other areas that didn't have particular customs. And Pesach is probably one of the most prevalent and many minhagim that are very well known. Some families have, some families don't have. Some are from Germany, some are from Hungary, some are from Galicia, and etc., etc. Many of them stem down to later generations, and some of them didn't pick up in particular areas.
All right, that's pretty cool. All right, so now let me ask you a question. What are some of these, if we had talked about some of the customs that are related to Passover, and maybe we'll get into a couple of them. I know that the difference between Sephardim and main ones is eating kitniyot, right? Do you have any? You want to talk a little bit about that?
That's an old tradition from Ashkenazi Jewry from about 1,000 years ago, and Sephardim never had the custom. Kitniyot essentially can be translated as particular grains that there was a concern that they might indeed become ultimately chametz, or the chametz was mixed into them,
so that they look a little bit like
similar
flour,
or they could create flour. And as a result of that confusion, the early medieval rabbis of Ashkenaz, and even some earlier of the Gaonic time period, decided to forbid eating them. Typically, the Ashkenazi community and those of Ashkenazic descent have been very, very serious about never eating any kitniyos, and the question is, what falls into those categories? Is it only things that those rabbis of 1,000 years ago prohibited, or even things that are new today? For example, one of the classic questions that exists in the last 5 to 10 years or so is quinoa.
Quinoa,
which is a very, very
my wife loves
grain.
quinoa.
Everybody loves quinoa.
She's very into it. Nobody else in the family is, but my wife is.
You're not the only one, Isaac. Quinoa is definitely a question in halacha as to whether or not it falls into the category of kitniyos. Many people refer to a response of Moshe Feinstein, where he deals with peanuts and discusses whether or not peanuts indeed are within the category of kitniyos. And the real fundamental question is something that's a new grain, for example, on this side of the Atlantic Ocean, which the rabbis of Eastern Europe never discussed, can that really still be called kitniyos today? There are various opinions about that, and that's really what stems to what's been called the quinoa controversy.
All right.
The last number of years.
I like quinoa controversy. That sounds good.
That could be a
topic. By the way, I like that's a book title right there. The quinoa controversy.
There you go.
Let's do it.
Copyright it.
All right. Tell me what give me an oddball custom that we're going to deal with in Passover here.
So I'll give you one, because I know everybody's going to buy the book.
Absolutely. By the way, you'll be able to buy it on our website. You're able to buy it. You'll be able to get the link at the bottom of the comments for the in the comment section.
Great.
So just so you're aware.
So one topic that I don't address, because there needs to be a second volume, of course.
Okay. Always.
Is the stealing of the afikomen.
Wow. Okay. So talk to me a little bit. Let's first set the stage. Afikomen. Chana.
Yes.
Oh, look at this. We got an afikomen
We're
bag.
ready.
We're good to go.
Ready.
All right. So the afikomen is.
So those of you who are familiar with the Seder, of course, and the setup of the Seder, early on in the Seder, there's a step called yachatz. Yachatz, you take the middle matzah. Am I going to break it?
Absolutely.
So you
break it up.
The middle matzah.
By the way, there's only 9 days left of Passover. That ain't gonna last too many more Wednesdays.
So you got to look at these two halves of matzah. Now the bigger one, what we're going to do is we're going to put it into this bag. The smaller one you're going to put back here. This is known as yachatz. So you break the middle matzah. The larger one you put in this bag, And the custom has developed, and listen closely, for the children to take this bag and to hide it.
Okay.
They leave the Seder table.
Where the children hide it or the parents?
That's a very good question. That's going to be a long topic. I don't actually want to bore your viewers here.
No, there's no boring our viewers.
Okay.
They're
But the afikomen is
not for you, but for me.
the afikomen is hid by the
Okay.
children, and they use it sort of as a opportunity to hold out and to ask their parents for a big prize if they want to get this back.
Why is it so important to get it back?
That's a great question, because at the end of the Seder, there's a step called tzafon. Tzafon means hidden. And you're going to take this matzah and you're going to eat it, and it's one of the last steps of the entire Seder.
Okay.
So you need to get this big matzah back.
You got to get it back.
In order to eat it. Now, the question is, at what point are the children going to give it back? Now, the kids aren't all going to give it back when their parents are ready to give in to buy them a new bicycle or something new from Judaica.com or Wine.com or whatever it is.
We like Judaica.com has some good afikomen gifts.
Yeah.
And at that point, the children will return it, and then they're going to get, the parents will get their afikomen, the kids will get a prize. This is kind of a strange custom, hard to understand. We really don't hide things too much. We don't take things so much. Some of you even call it stealing the afikomen. One of the great halachic authorities of the last generation, Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, was against calling it stealing the afikomen, because you don't want to teach your kids to steal. Stealing is not something that's necessarily good.
Okay.
He said that we hide it.
Okay.
But part of hiding it is really talking to the future of the Jewish people. That's
Okay.
something that can't be seen, even though right now times are tough and hard and not great. There's a hidden future for the Jewish people. And ultimately, we hope that it will be just as successful and be large. The smaller piece stays on the table the entire meal.
Okay.
It's small and sort of speaks to our life and our complications. It's mixed with the matzah and the maror and the charosas and all the different things you see on the Seder plate. But the afikomen, which is this large piece, stays behind. And that is the ultimate piece where there's no confusion, no more complication.
What does afikomen mean?
So that's a very, very good question. There are actually 3 different opinions. There are
Okay.
2 opinions in the Talmud and 1 Greek. But I'll tell you the fascinating one. Afikomen might come from the Greek word epikumen.
Okay.
Epikumen means post-meal revelry.
So you mean like dessert?
Dessert, but even more
Yes.
than dessert.
So just so you know, Passover, no cake, no fruit, matzah. That's what we're talking
I
about
don't
here.
know.
All right. Awesome. Well, that
There
was.
seems to have been a Greek custom that after
Okay.
an event they would go out and party.
All right. Well, you know
So-
what? That's a good custom we have here too.
So we eat the afikomen as the last
The
step,
last step.
and we say that's it.
That's
We're
it.
finishing off.
Good.
with
We've had enough.
that. That's correct.
Awesome. All right. That sounds great. All right. So I really appreciate you coming in today.
Pleasure. An honor.
It's been an awesome Chana. Do you have any questions, Rabbi Walter? Do you have any customs you want to talk about?
No, I think I'm good. I when doing research, like, what was your favorite custom to like really
That's a really
dig
good
into?
question.
Oh, because the book doesn't just talk about Passover.
Right, exactly.
It's customs all year round. So
Right.
what was your favorite one?
So that's a great question. I'll share with you something that's interesting. Purim just passed, and many have the custom to shake the grogger. And
Okay.
The grogger is that noisemaker. when
We
you-
had, check out our Wednesday Wisdom. We did a whole thing on
There
groggers.
you go. So when it comes to Haman's name, you would bang it.
Correct.
The question is, where does that come from? What is that all about? The propriety of banging for the name Haman. It's a great chapter, really fascinating. There are a lot of really
And
interesting.
that was your favorite custom.
It's hard to say favorite. I mean,
Most interesting.
it's
right?
an interesting one. There are, I mean, really all the customs of Passover are interesting. Shavuos is coming up in 7 weeks from now, and there's a custom only to eat milk products on Shavuos, which is also interesting to think about.
Not for the lactose intolerant.
That's correct. Hanukkah, you eat sufganiyot, but
Okay,
there's
all right.
a lot of
So there's a lot of Wednesday wisdom in your book here.
That's for
Yeah,
sure. I
a
think
chapter.
people find it interesting.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in today. Again, use the code WISDOM and you'll get 5% off your order. All of the products you see here, from the afikomen bag here to the book to all the different stuff here will be available in the comment section on our website. And again, if you have any questions or comments or topics that you want to talk about, again, please let us know. Next Wednesday will be our last in our Passover series. So we will hopefully.
People have any questions, are free to be in touch also.
Yes, exactly. And we can, if you have any questions, Rabbi Walter, we can forward them on through the comment section. Again, the book will be available. Thank you guys very much for joining, and we will see you next week.